Okay, switch gears here.
I have no answers, but I didn't watch the game. I'd love to talk
Which
about
one?
The last one.
The Wisconsin game?
Yes, and why? What happened? I mean,
They were
Wisconsin had our number.
Well, that's the third team that's had 2 weeks in a row to prepare for us, or they had a bye week before they had to play us, and so all you got to do is look at the game before that.
Yep.
And who did the Ducks play before Wisconsin? Maryland.
Maryland,
And we struggled against Maryland at home too, even though we beat them,
It's like
handily.
Wow.
But when you're on the road, you've got 2 weeks, you're fired up. You got number one coming into the stadium.
Yeah. Everybody's got their A game going.
That's exactly right.
You know.
You've got that mark on your back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got
to
a bullseye.
get you. Exactly.
So how? I mean, that was a struggle. I wasn't watching it, but I was on my phone. What's going on?
I knew it was going to happen.
Happening?
This is a game that I knew was going to be very, very hard and that we could lose.
Yeah.
Just because Wisconsin's good. They may not be that great this year, and they should have beat us if it wasn't for their quarterback not being able to hit any of their receivers.
Oh, man.
If he would have done that, there were so many guys wide open that he overthrew, just led him too far. He's not a very good quarterback. When the pressure's on, he can't make a play.
Okay.
And so otherwise the Ducks would have lost.
Wow.
They would have lost.
Wow, that's amazing.
But when you're on the road, it's
Yeah.
hard.
Oh, yeah.
Super hard.
Think about it. I mean, you can. The opposing team can have the best game they've ever had. Ducks have the worst game,
and you better bring it every.
Yeah.
And that was their 8th game in a row that they played without a break.
Now they've had a bye.
They have a bye playing Washington,
and now they're playing Washington. What do you see with Washington?
Are we on live?
Yeah, we're going.
We're just talking.
Yeah. Right, we're just going.
Oh, Washington. I think we're going to kick their butt.
I hope so, man.
I do. I think we're going to drill.
It's always a tough game.
I think we're going to, the spread right now is 19.5. Okay.
Oh, really?
It's early, but I think the Ducks are going to drill them. I think Washington's beat them 3 games in a row. 2 games last year. They've had their number. DeBoer went to Alabama. He lost last week, by the way, handily to Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Because he's the Alabama head coach now. So he took that job.
Washington has always been a tough.
Not always. Early in the 2000s, the Ducks had won, I believe, 12 out of the last 13 games. They had their number.
Okay.
And then just in recent years, Washington they've come up. So Fish, I can't remember his first name, who's the head coach for the Huskies.
Okay.
He actually was the head coach at Arizona last year, then took the Husky job. He did very well at Arizona. And he doesn't have his players up at Washington. Washington is depleted.
Okay.
The national championship team, and then when DeBoer left, there was a mass exodus, kind of like the Oregon State Beavers.
Yep.
So it's all that. I mean, the portal is, we've talked about that on other Dummies podcasts or shows or whatever you call this.
Yep, Ducks for Dummies.
That's right, Ducks for Dummies. There's a lot of dummies out there.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're right there with them.
Absolutely. No, so I'm excited to hear that. I'm not going to be able to go to the game, which is good. I'll be gone, but bad because I wanted to go see the game.
It's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be cold.
It's going to be fun.
And it's not going to rain, and it never rains.
In Autzen Stadium. Never.
So,
even though I've been there with my rain gear.
That's right. I went last game with the rain gear, and I did not get rain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So, that was the Maryland game.
Yeah.
So, so those last 2 games have been a struggle for the Ducks. But, again, we've had Tez Johnson. He separated his shoulder. At least that's what we think happened in the Michigan game.
Okay.
So whether he comes back on Saturday or not, we don't know. They may just save both him and Birch because Birch was out. So in the Maryland game, Birch, if you recall, they had a fake punt, and he's the one that got the ball in that fake punt and ran. And he looked like he was a deer. I mean, he just had moves and it was crazy. Right. Well, apparently he got injured.
Oh.
So
maybe
he's not going to be doing that play again.
Well, I was very excited. I knew that these last games were going to be rough, especially those last 2. So I was really happy that they pulled it off.
Yeah, me too. Well, for Washington, I mean, it's senior day. So the guys they're done, like Dylan Gabriel, a lot of the transfers. I mean, so you're gonna have a lot of families coming down, and so it's gonna be an emotional game.
Yeah.
So I think the Ducks can be ready to play. It's gonna be their last game at Autzen Stadium, a lot of them. So this is it.
So we get done with this. Now where do we go?
We go to the Big Ten championship game. We've already locked it.
Okay. So Ohio.
Don't know. I would imagine so. Ohio State has to play Michigan at home, so I think they're going to beat them. But you never know. That's a rivalry game.
Right.
That could go either way.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. They just got off a really big win against Indiana last week, and they destroyed them.
Right, which was impressive.
You know, Indiana hasn't really played anybody, but still, who they've played, they've dominated. They have, except for there was one game, and I can't remember who that was against, but they still pulled that one out, but it was a close one. But it was kind of a mediocre team. So, but they beat Wisconsin too. So they've got some solid wins. It's just you come up against a juggernaut in a big game like this. These guys show up for big games. Right. Really good talent shows up for big games, and they showed up. Even though Indiana won ahead 7-0, those were the only points they scored.
Well, and that's what I saw them jump ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. They scored in the fourth quarter again. I think they got 15 points. So at the very end of the game.
But I saw them jump ahead, and I'm going, oh, what's going on? But then when I saw the end score, I thought, that's pretty. It's pretty
interesting. That's one game that I watched for its entirety. Yeah, it's the only one that I've watched for the entirety all season long. And I know I've gone to Duck games. I've gone to every Duck game. Yeah. But I don't stay till the end. I'm out. I don't sit in traffic.
Oh.
So I'm gone with, I typically leave at the beginning of the fourth quarter just because typically the games have been over.
Yep, we've got, you can tell when the second, third string come in. And it's like, okay, let's go.
It's funny because I got ragged on for the Ohio State game because I left with 2 minutes left to go in the game.
Oh, you did?
Because of that fact. And so I did not know exactly. I didn't know what was going to happen. I go, you know what? Ohio State has the ball. I think they're going to drive and they're going to kick a field goal and they're going to win. That was my prediction, and thank goodness I was wrong.
They mismanaged that close. They mismanaged the clock. That was the only thing.
So that was on the quarterback.
They just mismanaged the clock.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so Ohio State. Ducks are going to probably play them in the Big Ten championship game. It's happening in Indiana, which Ohio's a little bit closer to Indiana than Oregon.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And the tickets are expensive. I've looked them up.
Oh. Are you going?
No, I'm not going to go. Well, number one, I don't want to be in the cold. If I like to go and travel and see a bowl game, I want to be at least in some warmer weather, not something that's colder than what it is in Oregon.
Be down south somewhere. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
What do they have a timeline for that?
As far as
we're playing in Indiana no matter what.
Yeah, Saturday, 5 o'clock. That's the kickoff.
What?
Pacific time. So the Ducks are going
in Indiana.
In Indiana, it could still be Indiana. If Michigan knocks off Ohio State, then Indiana's in it.
Wow.
So that's a home game for them, and we'll see what happens there. So
interesting.
Yeah.
What date is that game?
It is December. It's the Saturday. It could be. I think it's
the Saturday in December.
Saturday, the first Saturday of December, which is, I believe, the 7th.
Okay.
I'm almost positive that's the 7th.
Wow.
And it's a 5 o'clock kickoff.
All right.
And we will have our tailgater show from 2 to 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Which will be nice in the studio. We'd rather be somewhere
where
else,
it's warm.
But we're not going to be. So it's either Ohio State, Indiana, and I don't think there's any other options there unless both those teams lose and somebody else sneaks in, which might be Penn State. So that would be
really Penn State's still in there in the mix, possible.
Ohio State beat Penn State at Penn State. But Penn State has one loss. So if Ohio State loses to Michigan, they would have 2 losses. Penn State moves up.
Wow.
Indiana, if they win, I believe they're playing. Do they play Minnesota? I think they do. And so if they beat Minnesota, then they're in. But if they lose, then it's going to be Penn State if both the other teams, Ohio State and Indiana, lose. So
there's a lot.
So there's still a lot riding
on this Saturday, on this weekend.
Yeah, but for the Ducks, I mean, they won another undefeated season. It'll be their second one.
Wow.
First one was Darren Thomas when they went to the Fiesta Bowl for the national championship, and so I went to that one. That was amazing. That was really sneaking cool.
Yeah, very.
Atmosphere
very
was
fun.
Electric, and I'd never been anywhere like that.
One of these days, I'm going to go to a bowl game.
You should.
To a championship game.
Well, if the Ducks can pull it off and win the Big Ten championship game, then they're going to have a bye. because they will be. They're the number one team in the country right now.
Right.
So they will have a bye, and they, I think, have their option of the bowl game that they want to play in, which would be the Rose Bowl. Oh. And that would be on January 1st. So, but they've got 2 more games to win in order to get there.
Wow. Well, I'm gone on January 1st, so I won't be going to that one.
You're gone a lot, aren't you?
I'm in Indiana.
There you go.
I'm going to be in Indiana.
Yeah, well, you're a month too late. Or you will be.
I will be.
That's
a
right.
month delayed. So, no, let's man, go Ducks, man.
That's right. Go Ducks. See if we can do it.
Yep. See if
second
see
time
if we can do that.
Yep. So it'll be fun.
And Frank's even rooting for the Ducks, even though he's
There's Frank. I was wondering what happened to Frank.
He's
been wandering all over the place.
Yep. He says, "Go Ducks."
Go Ducks, Frank. That's awesome.
Right, Frank? Go Ducks.
Ducks for Dummies is brought to you by Advantage Heating and Air Conditioning, bringing safety, comfort, and peace of mind to the Willamette Valley for over 30 years.